from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Jackson Ingolstad.
And I'm Hayden Hudson. Since the beginning of the Trump administration, lawmakers have been at war trying to figure out the new national budget.
These actions have affected not only the nation, but locally trickled down to colleges and universities. That's our top story tonight. House Republicans are trying to pass an all-in-one federal budget today that would keep the Trump tax cuts, but cut spending by at least $2 trillion. This comes after the U.S. Senate passed their own smaller spending bill.
We're trying to work through concerns and issues. A lot of people want to make sure we're cutting an appropriate amount and we're having an appropriate amount of economic growth that'll be assured and all those things. So it's a very complicated negotiation, a lot of numbers, a lot of factors, a lot of different opinions, but we will get there as we always do.
This proposition has led to controversy on the House floor as House Democrats warned the cuts include an estimated $800 billion in cuts to Medicaid, which would harm rural and Hispanic communities.
House Democrats will not provide a single vote to this reckless Republican budget. Not one. Not one. Not one.
With the expected cut in federal funding, the University of Nebraska's Board of Regents met this morning to discuss possible bylaw and policy changes. University President Jeffrey Gold called this special meeting to discuss the letter released by the U.S. Department of Education, threatening to withhold federal funds from public academic institutions that don't disband their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The board proposed policy changes in regards to equal opportunity employment and admission standards to be discussed in later meetings. Public universities across the Big Ten and the rest of the nation held similar meetings today. To review the minutes of this meeting, the proposed policy changes, or view the recording of the meeting, visit the Board of Regents website at nebraska.edu.
The snow is starting to melt, which means spring is starting to get into full swing.
Nebraska Nightly forecaster Mitchell Brandt has your forecast. Mitchell?
That's right, guys. The snow is almost entirely gone here in Lincoln. That's at least to be what's going on so far. We've got a slight chance of rain before 9, not much, just a little bit, and we got a little bit of wind. That does not mean it's still not wonderful. As you see, we got a high of 65, low of 57. Beautiful walking weather today. As we take a look at tomorrow's conditions, we got a north-northwest wind about 8 to 15 miles, and again, just a small weather chance. It's again high of 60, low of 34. Tomorrow night is going to be low winds, just a small amount of rain. Beautiful weather. Take advantage of it. We got another look at our 7-day forecast. You can see the weather is going to stay high, get a little bit cooler on Monday, Tuesday, but that's about it. Back to you guys at the desk.
Lincoln police arrested 2 people after conducting a traffic stop near 48th and Orchard Streets at 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. When asked to step out from the car to conduct a canine search, the passengers of the vehicle fled, causing an officer standing outside the open passenger door to get caught inside. 2 officers pursued on foot, and a single shot was fired toward the car, causing no injuries. The car stopped in the intersection of North 48th and Orchard, and passengers Ronald Willis and Cynthia Martinez were taken into custody without further issues. The officer caught in the car sustained minor injuries to his leg, hip, and hand. Willis will be charged with assault on a police officer and flee to avoid, and Martinez will be charged with possession of a controlled substance.
A group of New Mexico high school student athletes headed to a competition were stopped at a Border Patrol checkpoint. The incident caught the attention of Congressman Gabe Vasquez.
While Border Patrol says it was a routine stop, Vasquez is calling it harassment, and now he's demanding answers. Vania Castillo reports.
Student swimmers from Centennial, Las Cruces, and Mayfield High School were headed to Albuquerque on Friday when Border Patrol stopped their bus at a checkpoint. Agents say the bus didn't have school markings, so they treated it like a standard charter vehicle. District officials say everyone followed instructions and the team was quickly let go. This morning, the district met with U.S. Customs and Border Protection to talk about ways to avoid this kind of situation in the future.
So it was a very positive conversation, and we agreed upon some proactive measures that'll both help them and then, of course, help us in ensuring that our buses are moving through those checkpoints as fast as possible.
But Democratic Congressman Gabe Vasquez, who represents parts of southern New Mexico, is sounding the alarm, claiming the students were harassed.
We are a proud community here, and I think we have to make sure that this doesn't happen again. because my fear is that this is going to slip into a place that we don't want to see. That's simply because the bus driver did not speak English.
He's not the only one concerned. Whitney Holland, president of the American Federation of Teachers New Mexico, says this never should have happened.
It doesn't matter if it was a charter bus, if it was a marked bus, if it was a loud and clear banner saying Las Cruces Public Schools. Students shouldn't be treated like that. Students shouldn't live in fear. They were doing exactly what we've asked of them, which is participate in extracurricular activities.
Vasquez has sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security demanding answers, but when I asked him what specific actions he's taking to prevent this from happening again, he turned the conversation to broader immigration issues.
We're entering a new world of immigration enforcement, and we don't know how far the Trump administration is willing to go to bully our citizens, what's going to lead to racial profiling in communities like ours, majority Hispanic communities, and what overreach is yet to come.
U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks said his agency is focused on defending the U.S. border and does not target schools or school buses. Bernie Sanders kicked off his Fighting Oligarchy tour in Omaha last Friday. The senator announced his Midwest tour after DOJ cleared out several agencies, set up illegal servers, and began to control data.
When we stand together, we can defeat them, and we must defeat them.
He aims to make Americans, especially in the Midwest, aware of this. Over 2,500 people made it in, and over 800 people were in the overflow area. More than 800 people were turned away due to the capacity.
I like the fact that everybody thinks this little old man, right, isn't going to be powerhouse, and he's so intelligent, he's so authentic, he's everything we should have in politicians.
For more information on the tour and Bernie Sanders' concerns, visit his website at berniesanders.com.
After the break, we'll take a look at the bracketology for both men's and women's basketball.
Bridger Cruz has your sports report next.
As soon as I kicked one of my buddies in the head, I was like, yeah, we gotta go after that.
I take back what I said.
Hey, done for the day?
Yeah, just kind of maxed out on people.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
You know, thanks for asking. I have been feeling just kind of off lately.
Do you want me to
Concerned about a friend? Just ask and refer them to counseling and psychological services at UNL.
Social media is a daily part of many college students' lives, something we've become used to, but it can also be overwhelming and draining. Studies show that taking regular breaks from social media reduces stress and improves mental health. Too much screen time has been proven to increase anxiety, while stepping away helps you reconnect with the world around you. Take a break. Protect your mental health.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Bridger Cruz. The Nebraska men's and women's basketball teams each suffered tough losses. Now, how does that affect their odds of making not only the Big Ten tournament, but the Big Dance? The Nebraska women's basketball team is currently 18-10 with one game remaining against Northwestern before they gear up for the Big Ten tournament. Currently, Nebraska is ranked 10th. Now, 15 teams make the tournament, and currently, if everything stays the same, Nebraska will be playing on day one of the tournament versus the 15-seeded team, which as of right now would be Northwestern. If Nebraska had to play Northwestern, it would be a tough two-game stretch for Nebraska, as they would be forced to play Northwestern in back-to-back games. But looking beyond the Big Ten tournament into March Madness, Nebraska currently has a 78.2% chance to make the tournament and are expected to be an 11 seed. But a win to round out the regular season and then a run into the Big Dance could improve the team's chances to not only make the Big Ten tournament, but improve their seeding as well. Now, this team has gone through a lot this season and has been able to get some big wins, but they need to get a few more key wins to elevate them to the Big Dance. Now, the Nebraska men's basketball team suffered a tough 3-point loss yesterday at home against the 15th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. While this was a close loss, a win would have been instrumental in Nebraska's case for a Big Ten tournament and March Madness berth. Currently, Nebraska is sitting at 17-11 on the year and 7-10 in conference. The Cornhuskers are positioned at 10th in the Big Ten with 3 games remaining in the regular season. The Huskers will take on Minnesota at home, then head to Ohio State and cap off the season at home, taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes on senior night. These games are crucial for the Huskers' odds to make the big dance. And if Nebraska can win 2 of their last 3, analysts are saying Nebraska would be in. But the Big Ten tournament is the main concern for this hungry Cornhusker squad. Currently, when Nebraska seeded 10th, if everything stayed the same, Nebraska would be playing USC on the first day of the Big Ten tournament. But looking past the Big Ten tournament into March Madness, Nebraska currently is 5-9 in Quad 1 games and 4-2 in Quad 2 games, with the only 2 losses being to USC and Rutgers. And looking at the tournament, Nebraska is far from safe, needing some timely wins to elevate them into March.
It sounds like these couple games coming up are going to be really important for the Huskers.
Oh, absolutely, for the men and women as well. But looking towards that men's squad, 3 games remaining in the regular season. Got to win 2 of the last 3. Those are some big games. And
they got some tough competition too. Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan State. I mean, some of those games, particularly Ohio State and Minnesota, are going to be some coin toss games. So we're going to really hope that the teams can pull it together here.
Right. I'm just excited to watch them play.
Thank you, Bridger. This year's Black History Month has various organizations around Lincoln hosting events to celebrate.
But as Nebraska Nightly's Linda Cuckoo reports, the political climate is putting a different lens on the month.
One of the first things President Trump did when he returned to the White House was dismantle federal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Still, organizations around the city are celebrating. Black is Beautiful Nebraska, a local nonprofit, hosted a Black History Month art show on First Friday.
But I think specifically in times like this, it's really important to make sure that if the larger structures are not upholding the values or beliefs that you have, you make sure that you or yourself are going out of your way to support those things and to show that you do think they matter.
Founder Zainab Funa started this work in 2020 when she hosted a photo shoot celebrating Black beauty and has been leading Black is Beautiful Nebraska since 2021.
I started the nonprofit because I knew if I start a nonprofit, I can do a lot of things like this and I can make however many kinds of events I want to and help give back to the community. So
they've created safe spaces for Black artists to share their work and connect with the community. Artist Delino Castamona shares his work at Black is Beautiful Nebraska events.
When a show pops up, I'm not one to pass it up. I'm gonna be there to, support, the cause and everything they're trying to do throughout the city and pushing everything out around Lincoln,
Funa doesn't plan on changing the work they do in the community.
it's like one of the most important times to shine almost and not hide back into the darkness.
Linda Cuckoo, Nebraska Nightly.
The art display will be up at Turbine Flats through the rest of the month.
Black is Beautiful NE has awarded more than $12,000 in scholarships since they started in 2021 and hosts events throughout the year, educating and increasing awareness of Black culture.
You know, Hayden, I'm so glad the weather's finally started to warm up.
You know what, me too. And meteorologist Mitchell Brandt has your final weather look. Mitchell?
That's right, guys. Take a look at our next 3 days. Beautiful walking weather. Take enjoy of this. We got about another week of these beautiful temps. Go ahead, enjoy it. Go for a walk. Enjoy the time outside. Sit on your front porch. Enjoy a nice glass of tea, water, whatever. Just enjoy it. You guys stay cold out there.
Thank you for tuning in to Nebraska Nightly. Join us on Friday for our next live show.
Enjoy the weather and have a great rest of your day.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's College of Journalism and Mass Communications.